Visitors from outer space, meteorites, can crash land on our planet without warning and remain buried for thousands of years. Jeff Notkin and Steve Arnold live to unearth them. They are, after all, the Meteorite Men. On this adventure, Jeff and Steve gain rare access to one of America's most storied meteorite sites, the 62,000-year-old Odessa Crater in West Texas. This is protected land. You can't just show up and ask, "Is it okay if I hunt for meteorites?" No, you most certainly cannot. Under a scorching Texas sun, they gear up with the latest detection equipment, prepared to search for giant iron space rocks that may still lie hidden beneath this ancient terrain. If anything remains, it's likely big and buried deep, but the guys have the tools to find big and deep objects. Imagine discovering an iron meteorite weighing 300 pounds or more, potentially worth $100,000. That would truly rock their world. "Morning, Odessa," someone says. "Hot out there today, could reach 105. Watch out for rattlesnakes." This is one of the world's great meteorite sites, and permission to hunt here is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Jeff and Steve have finally arrived. They've been seeking special permits for months to search on the sacred ground of the Odessa Crater, which spans about 550 feet across. It's one of only 2 craters in the US where iron meteorites have been unearthed. The Odessa Crater was blasted into Earth's surface about 62,000 years ago by a cataclysmic explosion 3 times more powerful than the atomic bomb dropped on Hiroshima. A massive meteorite, likely intact until the final moments, hit at tremendous speed. Most of it was vaporized by the impact, scattering fragments in every direction. That means the meteorites could be mixed haphazardly throughout the area, forming what's called a strewn field. Over the millennia, the crater filled in, leaving only a faint outline. Since it was first recognized as a meteorite crater in the 1920s, more than 15 pieces have been taken by professionals and tourists. The largest found so far weighs nearly 300 pounds. Public hunting has been halted for years to preserve the site. "The coolest thing about hunting here is that no one else is allowed," Jeff explains. "You can't just show up and start searching. Landowners around here have dealt with trespassers for decades." For Jeff and Steve, the potential discovery of a huge iron mass worth $100,000 is a major incentive. They've heard rumors that if anything big remains, it's buried deep. But they've got the tools to go deep. They've assembled more than $500,000 worth of specialized gear, a military-grade bomb detector, a magnetic gradiometer that can pinpoint a baseball-sized piece of iron 15 feet underground, a mobile ground-penetrating radar system, and a simple PVC sled, each attached to their Rockhound, a high-tech amphibious vehicle. The hunt is on, but the question remains, where to start? They've enlisted Dr. Mark Everett, a prominent geophysicist, who used a magnetic gradiometer to map the crater's tiniest magnetic anomalies. His data suggests several areas of interest. Each erratic reading on the map could be a small object, he explains, but these large signals might be something special. Armed with Mark's research, the crater rim is chosen as Search Area Number 1. Jeff has heard an old story about a large iron mass detected here decades ago. He and Steve deploy the EM-63, a military-grade unexploded ordnance UXO detector designed to locate bombs buried deep underground. If it can find bombs, it can find meteorites. They set off under the blazing sun. The EM-63 sends electromagnetic pulses into the ground. Metallic objects give off a signature that can be recorded on the onboard computer, but the search is exhausting and initial runs yield no clear targets. Jeff, exhausted from pushing the heavy rig, suggests adjusting the device to detect smaller objects. Steve, meanwhile, grabs his trusted $25 metal detector to scan a simpler area. Ironically, this low-tech tool quickly finds a small piece, an Odessa meteorite fragment that could be worth hundreds of dollars. It's their first find. Jeff, however, finds nothing in the crater rim area. Still, the fact that any meteorites survived at all after 62,000 years is extraordinary. Most incoming material is too small to create craters, and larger impacts often vaporize the object completely. Odessa is rare, a middle ground where some meteorite material remained intact. They move to search area number 2 on private land, hoping for better luck where fewer hunters have tread. The Texas heat is relentless, and it's not just meteorites under the soil. Oil country is full of pipes, wires, and debris. The detectors beep constantly, but it's mostly junk. Old pipes and bullet casings mock their efforts. They recall that back in the 1940s, the WPA, Works Project Administration, and the University of Texas dug a 165-foot shaft straight down in the main crater, searching for a giant meteorite. They found only solid sedimentary rock. After that, it was widely concluded no huge meteorite lay beneath the crater. Jeff and Steve lower a camera into the old abandoned shaft, just dirt and rock. No luck. They return to the field. Time is precious. The day is scorching, over 100 degrees, and they can't waste effort on endless digging for trash. They decide to call in heavier equipment, like a backhoe, to quickly excavate suspicious targets. Even this yields only old pipes. They move on to search area number 3, digging in the middle of a road after dark, which turns up yet another pipe. With daylight gone, they decide to return in the morning with the backhoe. The next day, the backhoe easily unearths the source, another useless pipe. The hunters realize they've been working hard with nothing to show for it. Just one small meteorite piece isn't enough. They try search area number 4, an old excavation pit near a smaller crater. Using a ground-penetrating radar system called the Smart Cart, they get a promising signal. After careful digging, it turns out to be a can of Schlitz beer. More disappointment. With time running out, they expand their search to area number 5. They bring out the Hydra Track, or Rock Hound, to tow a deep earth metal detector. This contraption covers lots of ground at once. A bigger coil means deeper detection, but the first big loud signal is just another pipeline. They abandon the Rock Hound and try old-fashioned metal detecting again. While wandering, they stumble upon something remarkable, a stretch of dirt road peppered with small, dark, magnetic fragments. They stand out clearly in the fading light. It's as if a load of meteorite shrapnel was spread across this patch of road, possibly dumped unknowingly by a gravel truck long ago. Suddenly they're picking up pieces left and right. "Oh, ha 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 ha," Steve exclaims as they keep finding fragment after fragment. They gather 65 pounds of meteorite shale in just 2 hours, worth around $10,000. This unexpected windfall changes the tone of the entire hunt. They didn't find a giant buried mass, but these fragments are definitely from outer space. It's a bizarre scenario. Iron meteorite pieces, likely Odessa fragments, spread along a road. They can't be certain how they got here. Maybe a meteorite was unknowingly dug up, mixed into gravel, and spread to make road fill. Later, at Arizona State University's Center for Meteorite Studies, Dr. Lawrence Garvey compares their find to a reference sample of Odessa iron